Now, with everything going on in Elbaf, from the God Valley flashback to Loki's flashback to the God Knights coming in and taking over and trying to subjugate Elbaf, there are still lots of things that we are yet to see this arc. But one of the most important things, one of the more things that Oda has been keeping hitting this arc is Gunko. Now, as we all know, Gunko is a part of the Holy Knights, but I'm pretty sure from her introduction, none of us really expected her to be this important or have extra layers to her backstory like she is expected to have now, right? Now, Gunko appeared in chapter 1139, I believe, alongside Shamrock. Now, when this introduction first happened, I assume most readers, me included, didn't really think Gunko would be this important or have extra layers to her backstory like we're expected for her to have now, right? At that time, people were more concerned on Shamrock. But as time has gone on, especially through Elbaf and with Shamrock not being here anymore, Gunko has taken more of a center stage as far as the main Holy Knight on Elbaf. But her being the main Holy Knight, taking center stage and doing most of the combat and leading isn't really why I wanted to make this video. I'm making this video because there seems to be a closer connection to Imu and Gunko than any of the other Gorosei and or Holy Knights that Imu has been around or has serving them. So in this video, we finna be discussing and theorizing what Gunko's potential connection to Imu could be, why Imu needs Gunko or finds Gunko useful. Is there anything specific? Or could it just be all some blue-haired obsession from Imu from Vivi? So if you enjoy One Piece theories and discussions and just One Piece yap bro in general, I appreciate if you sub to this channel, bro. I'll be trying to post as much as possible, especially whenever a new chapter comes out or whenever I have like a good One Piece topic I want to talk about in mind. So let's get straight into the video, man. All right, so let's start with why we believe Gunko to have some greater importance or connection to Imu, right? So let's start off with the fact that she was seen in the flower room with Imu way back in the Rock's flashback when he invaded the Holy Land. We've never really seen someone, the only people we've seen be this close to Imu and or take orders from him are Gorosei members for the most part, right? Now, we do know there are probably Holy Knight members who get embedded into that deeper part of the Covenant, like how we see in Elbaf, who know of Imu's existence. But for the most part, bro, it's Holy Knights and or Gorosei members, right? But Gunko is an exception to that rule, it seems, because at this point in time, she's not a Holy Knight or a devoted Blade of God, because at God Valley, she's a devoted Blade of God. And this, mind you, this event happened before God Valley. So what purpose does she have being around Imu? What Imu doesn't, Imu is quick to kill a Gorosei member if he feels like they're fucking up. So what would he need a random woman in his presence for? Another weird thing about Gunko is her aging, right? So all the way back in the Rock's flashback is about over 50 something years ago, I want to say, right? I want to say about 55 something years ago, and God Valley is after that. From the time we see her in the flower room with Rock showed up to God Valley, up to present day, she does not seem to have aged. So my question is, how is she not aged? Because from what we know, the people in the deeper contracts of Imu are the ones who get blessed with the immortality, like how we saw with Harold and some of the Gorosei, right? And even some of the Holy Knights currently. But it seems as if Gunko has had this from before she was ever a Holy Knight, from before she was a devoted Blade of God. So those few things right there lead people to believe that there is something up with Gunko, whether Imu requires her for something special or whether Gunko is special herself. Now, another connection between Imu and Gunko, which is kind of odd, and this one might be kind of a stretch, but their powers, right? When we saw Sabo get attacked by Imu I almost said the flower room, in the throne room, people were speculating how the tail looked like an arrow-ish like tail. But we see Gunko also has the arrow fruit. So that's another similarity to their powers as well. And usually, I feel like when it comes to Imu and connection to Gorosei or Holy Knights, you could just chalk that up to Imu blessing them with the power, right? But for the most part, we only know for the Gorosei to have these quote-unquote demonic forms. This fruit seems like it could just potentially be maybe a mimic of Imu's abilities, or maybe it's even deeper than that. And the last thing, we also know her memories have been altered. In that chapter when she was starting to get her memories back and she started asking and questioning if that was really Brook, and then Imu took her over, I feel like there's no real reason for Imu to take Gunko back over unless there's a reason she doesn't want Gunko remembering who she was or having Gunko get away. Because like I said earlier, how is Imu so quick to kill a Gorosei member, but you've had Gunko around for this long, to our knowledge, doing absolutely nothing? Now, there are either a few reasons for this. First reason, maybe Imu is just obsessed with random blue-haired people, right? We know he has this obsession with Vivi, and Lily, right? Because he wants Vivi. And one of the connections between those two characters, they have blue hair, right? Shout out to Reddit, you know what I'm saying? I was at work last night and I was thinking about a Gunko theory in Reddit. I was running through rampant through Reddit, my nigga, and hella niggas was saying that, so I had to include that in this video. But yeah, maybe that could just be it, but I also don't see Emu being that type of person to where he's just that obsessed with Vivi and or Lily to where he just wants another person around him with blue hair. Now that could play a part in it, but now we do know Gunko is a part of the Maynir family. My fault if I'm saying that wrong, but is she really a part of the Maynir family, right? We don't necessarily know. We see that in the God Valley flashback, one of the other members of the Maynir family says, now that we have you on our team for the tournament, Gunko, we have a chance to get a trophy. Now, this could be a stretch, but that leads me to potentially believe maybe Gunko wasn't here before. She wasn't participating before. Clearly, she's been with Emu in the Holy Land, but if she's been connected with Emu in the Holy Land, why was she not participating in these tournaments before? Did she not have a devil fruit before then? Or something like that? Was she not devoted? Well, clearly she wasn't the devoted blade of God back then, so maybe you could argue that's why she wasn't participating. But no, I feel like there's something there with this Maynir family shit that eventually might get let on. Also, the Maynir family, we don't know anything about this family, but I'm gonna just go on the whim and add in my other little part of this crackpot theory in there. Maybe the Maynir family has some sort of correlation with the Nefertari family. And maybe that might be why Gunko has blue hair and why Emu is taking a liking to Gunko, because we see he is obsessed with the Nefertari family like crazy. And it is assumed by us, the fandom, that Emu needs a Nefertari's person body to either keep his little immortality shit going, or he needs them specifically for something. But we also know it could just be because he's obsessed with Vivi, because she scattered the poneglyphs and Vivi is a descendant of Lily. That also could be another reason why. But I also would not be very surprised if the whole quote-unquote Maynir family thing was just a play by Oda this whole time. We've known in One Piece for characters to have a certain last name or a certain part of their name, and then as we learn more about the character, their name gets revealed to be something else. Bro, it's happened so many times in this story at this point, I deadass cannot be surprised anytime that happens anymore. We literally just got the reveal not too long ago that Rox D. Zebek's name isn't really Rox. He's Davy D. Zebek, right? Or my fault, I don't even know. Or maybe it's Rox Davy, I don't know, my fault, but I ain't good with remembering the first and last names of this Japanese shit. But y'all get what I'm saying, bro. The names can easily, your family name can easily be changed, or Oda can easily have that be swapped around. Because for all we know, she could have just been placed into that family. Or maybe she was never really with that family, similar to how Shanks was as a kid, and maybe they had to seek her back out or something for some reason. Maybe the reason why they're trying to seek her back out is because Emu has this connection or needs her for something. And unlike most of the other Holy Knights and Gorosei members, it seems as if Gunko has a different type of like personality. She doesn't seem to be a straight up asshole or straight up really care about being pure evil or anything like that. Otherwise, I feel like there would be no need for Emu to wipe her memories, because if she was really just a dickhead like people like Sommers and Shamrock and all that shit, there would be no need to wipe her memories and keep her under control. But clearly Gunko is not like that. She has a regular human side to her, doesn't really care about being a celestial dragon, I would assume, from the way that she was quick to try to interact with Brook. Now maybe she could just have this connection with Brook and not give a fuck and be scum towards other niggas that's not Brook. But I highly doubt that the way Oda writes his characters in the story, especially the characters who he tries to have, end up having sad backstories. You can't have a character that has a sad backstory like that and they're just a piece of shit to everyone but Brook. No, we would not feel for that character that way. So therefore that leads me to believe that there is something about Gunko that Emu needs or wants to have leverage, whether it is her devil fruit, which would also be very interesting, because I would therefore question, what about Gunko's devil fruit does Emu desire and or have use for? But that could be it, but I'm leaning more towards the fact that Gunko could be a vessel for Emu in some sorts. Now, most of the community has been saying that, but I want to delve into why. Now, potentially, we don't know anything about the Op fruit or what it was doing around this time back 50 plus, 60 plus years ago around God Valley incident. We really don't know. If we do know, and I'm just forgetting about One Piece lore, let me know in the comment section below if you're watching this video. But we don't really know what the Op fruit was going. The farthest back we have of the Op fruit was how Dofi was talking about it back then with Corazon before Law got it, right? And how Doflamingo claimed on that day if he had the fruit, he would have been able to take over the world or get the special holy treasure in the Holy Land, right? Now, like I said, you can. I really want you to point me on any holes in my theory if I'm wrong here, because I'm kind of making this up as I go. What if Gunko has had the op fruit surgery done on her before, and Imu needs her body to possess it, like in an Orochimaru-esque manner, so Imu can continue to be immortal, right? Now, I don't really know, because like I said, we don't really know what was going on with the fruits back then, but it would kind of make sense on why Imu's keeping her around versus her just being a favorite or a lookalike of Lily or anything like that. Because I'm gonna be honest, the whole she's a lookalike of Lily and all that shit, that just makes Imu seem kind of soft. Now, I'm not opposed to Imu seeming soft or having an obsession with a woman, because you know what I'm saying, if he's a dude, bro, you know what I'm saying, we're all dudes at the end of the day. But y'all get what I'm saying here. I just feel like that makes more sense if Gunko had something special about her or something important done to her to where Imu now seeks them out. But we also have to wait on Gunko's flashback with Brook, because that can also potentially give us more clues on what connection she might have with Imu. There have already been so many connections with Brook and, like, you know, Holy Knights and all that. Originally, that's what this video was going to be about, like Brook, Gunko, and the Holy Knights. But I'm like, bro, I don't think Brook is a Holy Knight, so I'm not going to make no video talking about that. Plus, hella niggas made videos about that. But whenever we get the video, whenever we get the flashback talking about Gunko's and Brook's relationship, I'm pretty sure we will probably get more clues or hints as to why Imu seeks her out so much. And also, if you look up the meaning of the name Gunko, it means child soldier. So this could also be Oda hinting at that Gunko has been doing shit like this and has been in the Imu's possession or the government's possession since a child, and has been going through this type of training and or maintenance to be Imu's vessel or be Imu's personal servant. Now, honestly, me personally, my theory or my prediction is that Gunko will be connected to the Nefertari family in some way, shape, or form because of the blue hair, and because that's been the only group of people that we've seen Imu really obsess over, outside of Shirahoshi and Blackbeard with the Wano posters. But for the most part, she had this obsession with the Nefertari family, right? Now, the only thing with that is the Maynir family shit. Maybe they could be a descendant of the Nefertari clan. Maybe they're a former branch of the Nefertari family. Who knows, right? There's a lot about the 13 families in the government that we still really know pretty much nothing about. We don't even know. I'm not even sure if we know all 13 families, my nigga. You know what the fuck I'm saying? So Oda can deadass do whatever he wants with this. But if I had to take a good prediction at this, I would say Gunko has some sort of ties or relevance to the Nefertari family and or Queen Lily. Hopefully it's that, and it's not the fact that Imu just wants to go into like a blue-haired woman all day. But yeah, man, hopefully y'all boys enjoyed this video. I know this video isn't that long, and it might not be like that good of a video or whatever, but I just wanted to talk about this and give my take on the Gunko shit, because I figured since the Elbaf fights are seeming like they're about to ramp back up and start back up, I figured sooner or later, probably like in the next 10 chapters, we're probably going to get some more information on Gunko and Imu and shit like that. So I wanted to get this video up before any of that started happening, so just in case, maybe I might end up being right. Maybe this theory or video might hold a little bit of weight. Shit, who knows, bro? But let me know in the comment section, what are y'all predictions and or theories for Gunko? I know I didn't really say anything in this video that's like groundbreaking or anything, you know what I'm saying? For the most part, this was me just like thinking of shit myself that everyone knows about the story, and going on a couple of Reddits looking at some things other people were saying to see if I'm tripping like with the lore and the time I adding up and shit like that. But yes, Gunko, I'm calling it right now, is going to be a descendant of the Nefertari clan. That's why Imu needs her as a vessel. Another reason why I believe Imu to be some sort of vessel, Gunko to be some sort of vessel, is because it seems like the way Imu takes her over is somewhat different than how she takes over Saturn, right? Now, we know she can possess Saturn, but I don't know. It just feels different when it's Gunko so far. It hasn't felt the same when it has with Saturn, so I don't know. Maybe that could just be me reaching with that, but yeah. That's the end of the video, man. Like, comment, and subscribe, bro. If y'all really fuck with me, I do have a main channel as well, but I play like video games and shit. I got like 5K over there. The name of that channel is Strictly Z, bro. I'll put the link in the description or whatever the fuck. So yeah, love y'all boys. Let me know y'all theories about Gunko, and I'll catch y'all boys on the next One Piece chapter, bro. Peace.